Hello, I'm Donna Bogatin, founder and CEO of StartUpAlpha.com, a new Silicon Valley startup for Silicon Valley startups. And we feature an incubation environment online where entrepreneurs can pitch themselves, as well as offline events where business learning takes place and interaction with potential partners and investors.
Welcome to Next New Yorkers. I'm your host, Courtney Nichols, and today we'll be speaking to Donna Bogatin, founder of StartUpAlpha.com. Good morning, Donna.
Hello.
Thank you for joining us.
My pleasure.
So why don't you tell me why you started the site?
Sure. I'm a former investment banker and also a professor of internet strategy at the NYU Stern School of Business, my alma mater. And the last 2 years I've been blogging, probing the business heart of the internet, first for ZDNet and then for my own insider chatter. And after about 2,000 posts and interviewing hundreds of CEOs and venture capitalists, I said to myself, perhaps it's time to go beyond analyzing companies and really help them build what they want to become from the ground up.
And is that because when you were interviewing, they were saying to you that they were looking for that kind of solution? What is it that told you that this approach was the right one?
Well, once again, so I was around for the first internet bubble, so I see what a bad business model can do. But now, in a sense, it's even worse because there are no business models. So in the tech community, a cool app can be created on a weekend, on a dime, but after the first early adopter claim to fame, there's really nothing left. So I want to use my whole business development and venture capital background to help startups get off to the right foot.
And how do you do that? What are the different facets of
Sure.
the site and how do they function?
Right. So StartUpAlpha.com has 4 key components. The prime component is the Startup Alpha pitch community, and that's a free online platform where entrepreneurs can pitch themselves for free and they can interact with each other. Then the second component is Startup Chatter, and that's where I do my blogging and continue my analysis of big business models and conference coverage and things like that. And then we also have the Silicon Valley Alpha function, which takes the whole concept offline and brings people together in the real world to further the real world networking. And the fourth component is a personal incubation service where I can consult one-on-one with entrepreneurs to help them achieve what they want to.
So to focus on the very first part where you have a pitch site, which I know is something that a lot of organizations offer, how is it that you get the money people to the site? Because a lot of times I know what I've heard from startups is they end up pitching to each other, which is great to get feedback, but ultimately they are looking for money. And so how do you know that you're getting the money people there?
That is important, but that seems what most sites are doing. And I'm really starting way before that and really wanting to build the ground up for the entrepreneurs. I'm a bootstrapper myself, and the longer you can have a self-sustaining business model and build up the value yourself, the larger your equity portion that you retain. I feel at the stage where I'm addressing, it's an underserved environment, and I really want to focus on the business models and the traction rather than going right to the financing.
And how, knowing that you have both online and offline parts to the business, how are you making money? What is the business model for StartUpAlpha.com?
So last fall, when I wanted to take my blogging to more concrete hands-on level, at the same time I happened to be speaking on a panel in the Research Triangle, a venture capital event, along with some folks from Microsoft. And at that time, they were talking to me about how they were looking to reach out to groups of entrepreneurs, in particular for them to have access to large groups of numbers of people that would be interested in using their software. So I'm looking at that kind of corporate sponsorship model, and that's one of the core ways. And the other core ways is the consulting incubation services called Entrepreneurs in Residence, and that's a traditional advisory type fee service.
And how are you funding this business? Are you funding it yourself? Are you going to look for financing?
Right. It's self-funded. This is not a capital-intensive endeavor. It's a human-intensive endeavor. And the beauty of it is that, as I grow and as demand grows, it's self-liquidating. Always get other people on board. And what's also very appealing is that the whole sector is very collaborative. Venture capitalists are used to working in syndication with each other on deals, on different projects, softwares, and graphic designers. So it's the type of community that can grow virally, and there will always be opportunities to, to build up the foundation.
And do you think that there are competitors out there or other folks who are trying to aggregate entrepreneurs?
Sure. In New York City we have a lot of meetups and venture capital groups, but they cross a wide spectrum. You have some folks that just want to meet socially at a bar once a month. You have other folks that want to bring together startups at a certain stage and have them pitch their business plan to prospective investors. I'm trying to have a holistic approach, again from the ground up, trying to direct entrepreneurs to take their idea and build it out the right way, and trying to get the whole entire spectrum.
So since you're interviewing a lot of entrepreneurs and meeting with a lot of startups, I'm curious to hear what you see as the most consistent flaws in the business models, or probably where they need the most help in terms of the way they think about business and think about financing.
I think there are two core problems in this cool app generation, where the goal mainly is to get user traction from the get-go without thinking of a business model, or in particular a revenue model. So the idea is to give out something for free, hoping that will then bring lots of massive traction. And while the advertising-supported internet is the model du jour, right, that has a lot of challenges, especially in the user-generated content sector. And I feel it's nice to have some types of models that go beyond that are different, that are unique.
Well, great. Thank you so much for coming in, and good luck to you.
Thank you. I enjoyed it.
Here's what we learned today about StartUpAlpha.com. Thank you for joining us at Next New Yorkers. I'm your host, Courtney Nichols, and please join us for another episode.
Bye.